It is an oleander. Thank you. It's an oleander.
Oleander, gotcha. All right, we have our Girl Scout getting connected to audio. Oh, I think she's connected. Hey, how are you? Looks like she's trying to get situated here. We have one more Girl Scout coming in. Let's see. Looks like we have Miss Elena also joining. Welcome. And I don't want to mess your name up, but I'm going to take a stab at it. Is it Keely? And you can unmute yourself, sweetie.
Oh yeah, my name is Kylie.
Kylie, okay.
I didn't
Kylie.
know I needed.
Gotcha. Kylie.
I'm new to it on the phone.
Gotcha. That's no problem. Well, welcome, Kylie. Welcome, Elena. I see she has joined us.
I'm guessing you're my new Scouts.
Awesome.
What was that, Kylie?
Scouts. Whoa, what's that noise in the background?
I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you, Kylie.
What the? I'm guessing you're my Girl Scouts.
Yes, we're going to be taking you through your session today. Miss Kathleen is going to run our session for us. My name is Lindsay, and I am here to support. Of course, you ladies can keep your videos on if you wish, but if not, that is also fine. Also, if you want to write your any messages in the chat, or if there's any questions that you may not want to say out loud, you just want to type the answer in the chat, that's also fine because I'll monitor that for you. There's also some great, really cool emojis. So if we say thumbs up, you can click on the thumbs up emoji. If you want to give a hand clap, you can also do that as well. And we'll just get started in a few. Miss Kathleen, did they need any supplies for today?
They didn't have to have any supplies, but if they did have a flower, they could take their flower apart as I take my flower apart. We're gonna kind of look under the petal of a flower and see what makes it work.
Awesome.
So if you guys have access to it, but make sure you don't just pick any petal. We had to ask our neighbors for the beautiful flowers that I'm going to be sharing with you in just a couple of minutes. But you need to make sure that you have permission before you pick anything.
Awesome. And Kylie, I don't know if you can see us. We cannot see you. I think we see your room, but we don't see you.
I can see you, but I don't know how to make me see you.
Oh,
Or
God.
you can see me.
There should be a button. If you're on your cell phone, there should be a reverse button. It almost looks like a camera with a little reverse arrow.
Can you see me now?
I think you just, yep, we see you now.
I got this.
Oh, what is that a a patch?
Brownies. I got wings because I'm now moving up to a Girl Scout Junior.
Congratulations. Oh, I know that must feel amazing, right?
And I feel sad because I miss my Girl Scouts, my old Girl Scouts. But one of them is in my school. The Girl Scout one of them are in my school, so I can see them.
Oh, cool. And
cool.
The cool thing about Girl Scouts is you're going to make new ones and keep the old ones and keep moving up. And maybe you'll see them at other Girl Scout events.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe even on here. Call your old Girl Scout friends and say, hey, meet me at Tuesday's Hangout. We're all gonna do a bunch of fun stuff.
Wait, when is this Girl Scouts? Like, what day is it for this Girl Scouts?
For juniors, it's always on Wednesday, all the way
Okay,
through
so it was
July.
It was always on every other Tuesday for my old Girl Scouts.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
and this is just for July. We'll start, oh, pretty flower, Elena. Yeah, cool.
Pretty.
So we're gonna go ahead and start, and if anybody else joins us, they can just jump on in. So I'll let you go to the next slide, please. All right, so this badge is actually called the flower badge. We're gonna do a little piece of it. We're gonna do step 3, find out how flowers help people. But you'll see there's other steps there too. Uncover the science of one flower, look under the petals, have fun with flowers, and send a message in flower code. Now that's kind of a fun one, but I'm gonna let you guys do that one on your own. And I did a little misstep there on my slides. We're also gonna do step 1, uncover the science of one flower, because that's what we're gonna do when we take it apart. Thank you, Miss Lindsay. Before we get started, as we do with all Girl Scout events, I'm gonna ask you guys to raise 3 fingers on your right hand, and we're going to recite the Girl Scout promise and then the Girl Scout law. Do either of you wanna lead us through the Girl Scout promise? Yeah? Kylie? Can we unmute you?
Okay. Yeah, I would.
All right, we're ready to start whenever you are. You won't hear us, but we'll be saying it with you.
On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country. And to wait, what? Sorry, this is different. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. Sorry, it's the same one as my old one. I just get confused because I don't remember it. I did not memorize it on the last one.
Oh, that's okay. A lot of people, I read it every time. I don't memorize it all the time. So the Girl Scout law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do. And to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout. All right, well done. I always appreciate you joining me, Miss Lindsay. Okay, so the purpose of this badge, when you've earned the flower badge, you'll know all that is wonderful about flowers, and that some of that is science and some of it is just art and beauty. I had a couple of typos, didn't I, Miss Lindsay? Okay. How do flowers help people? So you guys, I put your hands up. How do flowers help people? Elena.
They decorate their yards.
Right, it's beautiful. So sometimes that calms us. What else, what might we use flowers for?
There are some edible flowers.
Right, there are some edible flowers. My favorite is the squash blossom. It tastes very good when it's fried up. Mm. Cool. Kylie, how about you? What are some other ways that we use flowers?
I think she's thinking.
You want to unmute yourself, Kylie?
So you can make flower necklaces, flower bracelets, flower headbands, basically whatever you can do. And I'm trying to
Cool.
computer right now. This is my computer, so if you see something else, that's me.
All right. So Elena, you have your hand up.
People make perfume for flowers. Out of flowers.
Exactly. Perfume, and sometimes they're still working on why this happens, but they see that sometimes a nice scent will calm us. It just makes us relax a little bit more. So yeah, it's not just the bees that are attracted to the flowers, but humans too. I'm gonna have you click and make sure. So what do flowers eventually become? Flowers are on the plant, but what do they do? What do they eventually become while they're still a flower? Yes, Elena.
Seeds.
What was that?
Seeds?
Saying seeds.
Seed? Are you saying seeds? Oh, yes, because they eventually become fruit or vegetables, and that disperses the seeds eventually. You're absolutely right.
1 sec. I'm gonna get my computer somewhere because I have no clue what's.
All right.
Not a problem, Kylie.
You'll be all right, Kylie. Okay, so next question, please. What is attracted to flowers? What do they produce? So what's attracted to flowers, Elena? Yeah.
Bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds.
Right.
Hummingbirds look for bugs in the flowers, but only sometimes get the pollen.
Oh, cool. It depends on if it's a nectar flower, right? Or a pollen flower.
Fun fact about hummingbirds, they can expand their
Ooh.
lower beak part to get
Uh-huh.
the bug.
That's cool. I appreciate that fun fact. That is a fun fact. Another fun fact about hummingbirds, they flap their wings up and down. They can actually pivot them at their shoulder. So each beat counts. It's amazing. It's a lot like a bee. So like you said, we have bees, we have butterflies, and there's a couple other pollinators too. Wasps are pollinators. And so when they do that though, what do the bees produce? They take that pollen home and they produce what? What do some bees produce?
Computer.
Honey?
Honey, exactly. Cool. And so we use the scent of flowers. Kylie mentioned that before. We use the scent of flowers in perfume. We also use it, we find that it sometimes calms down humans. And I'm sorry, Elena, what was that?
I mentioned the perfume.
Thank you. All right, next slide, please. Oh, thank you. How do plants produce themselves? And that was mentioned by both of you. They produce seeds, they produce fruit, they produce vegetables. So the flowers help in all of that. And it helps it cross-pollinate. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. All right. So parts of the flower. This is where we get a little fun. So you know, when you look into a flower, you may not know this, but they have female parts and male parts. And we call female parts in plants and animals, that's the part that usually has the eggs. And we use the same terms for a lot of the plant parts that we use. And so we have on any of our flowers, it has a pistil, and they all look different with every flower. I'm going to show you a flower in a moment. You have a flower there too, I saw. So when we start taking it apart, you'll see what these pieces look like on your particular flower. We have petals. The petals are usually called a corolla if they're all together, but when they're individual, it's just a petal. And then we have an ovary. This is where the undeveloped eggs are sitting. So it's still sitting in the flower because it hasn't become a fruit or vegetable yet. And then we have a stem, of course, that's the part that connects it to the main plant. And we have a stamen. And this is the part of the plant that usually rubs off on the bees as they come and go, because a flower usually doesn't pollinate itself. It needs its pollen to go somewhere else. So it likes the fact and attracts these birds, and sometimes, believe it or not, mammals, sometimes bats, sometimes bees and wasps. They come and that pollen gets on them. They go to another flower and they spread it. It's a lot of pollen spreading going on. And then we have something called the sepal. This is it tends to connect the two parts of the plant together, the pistil and the stamen. Again, each flower is a little different. But I'm gonna have a little fun with you guys. Miss Lindsay, if I could have you advance to the next slide just so I make sure I'm on track. Okay, that's a cool place to stop. If we could have the supplies spotlighted, please. Thank you. All right. So you guys should be able to see the flowers that we picked earlier. This is oleander. And this is it gets a pretty bad reputation as a plant because people think that it's poisonous. It's only poisonous if you eat a bag full of these leaves. Oleander is also used in my family's tradition. We put hot water over these and we soak in the bath. The scent is actually supposed to be restorative, and it's part of our practice of taking care of ourselves. So I'm going to take it out of your view for just a moment. Sorry, I realize my other one is still on. I'm going to remove, this actually is a seed pod, and we're not talking about that today, but we just thought it was so cool that it was on there. We left it on there for you. I'm going to remove the flower at the stem. Put the rest of it back in the vase. It's kind of a nice smell to have in the house. So you'll see parts of the flower, and every so often I'm going to stop and we're going to see if Miss Lindsay can keep up with me on the muting and unmuting. So this piece right here that I'm touching with my tweezers, I'm going to take that off. And what is that piece called? Well, might have to use my fingers. What is this piece called, the real pretty piece?
A petal?
Yes, exactly. I know it seems really basic, but they get a little harder, right? Mm-hmm. So on this flower, we have, I lost my photo there for a moment. There we go. On this flower, we have these little pieces sticking out. You'll see them here in pink. You see those little hairs sticking out? What do you suppose those are called?
Lena or Kyla, do you know what those are called?
There's a couple of them. Can you, Miss Lindsay, can you click back to, oh, nope, sorry, that'll kind of mess it up a little. I'm gonna keep you guys with me. So these pink parts, and you'll see this when you look at your PowerPoint again when we come back. These little pink parts, those are the stamens. So the stamen have all that pollen on it. So if I lightly brush this, if I was a little bee or a wasp, I would get some of that pollen on me. So in the middle, we have just one thing, and it stands up straight. What is that called? Does anybody remember? It's not a rifle, it's a what?
Elena has an answer. You have to unmute yourself, sweetie. Oh, she doesn't. Okay.
All right. So, and that's why we do this, is so that we can talk about parts of the flower. So that piece right there that on this flower is white, that is called a pistil. All right. Okay, so we're going to keep going into this flower. And you guys, when you get a chance and you see a flower that someone will let you take apart, it's kind of amazing to see what's in it. All right, now we're really getting into the middle of this flower. And this piece right here, that's the part we talked about that is the ovary. That's the part that has the what in it. What does this have?
Seed?
Yes, exactly. It has the seeds. And we all know what this piece is called, right? This piece that connects it to the main part of the plant.
Stem.
Yes, exactly, the stem. So we see the stamens, that's these little pink guys here, and the pistil, the big guy here, and he's connected to the little seeds down here. If we let this grow, eventually a little bulb, and on this particular plant, it gets about the size of a blueberry, and when it drops to the ground, it smells just like the flower, and it's eaten by bugs and it's eaten by birds. And then they take those seeds all over the place. It's amazing how this little flower keeps its whole plant going. And all through New Mexico, Arizona, South Carolina, North Carolina, and the coast of Georgia, you'll see the oleander plant do really well. And it's all because of this flower. Now in the desert, this flower is a dark purple because there's nothing else that's dark purple. But here in South Carolina, it's kind of a pinkish purple. It's unique to our area. But this little plant has a lot of uses, but it all comes from this little guy here, attracting the pollinators. All right, we can go back to the main video. You can unspotlight that. It's kind of fun when you're, if you teach somebody else, so like if you show your mom and dad, or you show your grandma, or you show your siblings the parts of a flower, it sticks in your head even more. It's pretty cool. Okay, quiz time. Let's click. All right. I should be on video now.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, thank you. So why are flowers important to the plant? Anybody?
They have the seeds in it.
They do, they have seeds in them. Okay, next question. Good job. What is attracted to the flowers? Anybody remember?
Bees,
Bees are one of them.
butterflies, and
Hummingbirds, exactly. Sometimes there's a big furry ant that gets in there too, and he spreads it as well. Okay, what is another name that we call these creatures? Yeah, it's a type of ant. What is another name we call them? These creatures that help spread the pollen. What do we call that group of insects usually? Anybody? They spread pollen. Elena, what are they called?
pollinators.
Pollinators, exactly. Next question. Okay, what is one way people use flowers? Just give me one answer and then we'll let somebody else answer. What is one way people use flowers? Yes.
Perfume.
Perfume, great. Kylie, what's one way people use flowers?
Flower crowns.
Nice, exactly. Miss Lindsay, do you have a way that you like to use flowers?
I do. I like to use flowers just for decorating to make the home look a little bit nicer.
Right, right. Cool. That's exactly why I like using flowers. I like using flowers too, the ones that have a lot of pollen on them. I actually like using them to paint things. I know it sounds really weird, but if you take a flower with a lot of pollen on it and you shake it over something wet, it kind of adds a cool color to your paint. So using them with watercolors is pretty cool. But a lot of people use the botanicals, which is another name for flowers and plants. A lot of people will use the flowers in soaps, and you can learn how to make soap with us sometime in August. We're going to have another session. And we'll be talking about flowers again. Okay, so next steps. We're just going to click straight to that badge. I'm sorry, it appears that I might have sent you the wrong one, huh?
No.
If you could do me a favor and go back up to the badge requirements session,
Absolutely.
slide, I mean. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, it looks like Kyle has renamed himself.
What?
Yeah, I'm Gamecock.
Yeah. Kyle's one of our staff. He helps us do these kind of programs with you guys. Anyhow, so we covered step 1. We did the science of one flower, but you can do on your own, look under the petals. So when you flip a flower over, you'll see it has different growth patterns on it, but it also has different things that attract and trap pollen. But you can look at the badge requirements and find out there's other activities for you to do under step 2. Step 3, find out how flowers help people. We talked about that, but you can also talk with someone at your local plant store. And those are all over the place, Lowe's and Home Depot. So keeping a social distance, you can talk to them specifically about some flowers. They can really help you out. Have fun with flowers. I think we have Kylie has a lot of great ideas on how to have fun with flowers. You can also do pressed flowers. You can dry flowers. You can, like I mentioned, put them in soaps. And there's some of them, like Elena was telling us, that you can eat. Send a message in flower code. So believe it or not, each flower represents either a word or letters. You'll have to do a little research, but there's a way that you can actually send a message in flower. Also, some colors like white flowers usually meant we're a good, clean friendship. I just love you, absolutely. Red, sometimes it means passion. I love you passionately. And that's usually a great smelling rose as well. But all the colors have meanings. And so the flowers do as well. All right. Okay, we'll go to that last slide so that we can share with them what's happening in the next couple of weeks. So next Tuesday, we have our hangout sessions. You guys know that means everyone can join us, regardless of your age. Miss Lindsay's going to walk us through how to make a wallet. So you need to get some duct tape, and there's some other supplies. So check out the supply list, but it's going to be a fun time on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. The next session that we're going to be doing as juniors is also a fun session. I had a lot of time doing it, doing a similar session with her last week or last month. It all kind of runs together, I apologize. But Miss Lauren is going to walk us through a horse of a different color. So there's the only supplies that you need if you have one is either pictures or a stuffed animal that looks like a horse, or even a unicorn. She said that was okay too. Anyhow, so that one's at 3 o'clock on July 8th. She's going to do a horse of a different color. And this will help you out with your horse lover's badge. So anybody have any questions of what we did today or anything that you'd like to say?
I didn't know that.
Cool. How about you, Elena?
Thank you.
Thank you. That was very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Lindsay. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kylie, sorry, and Elena. I appreciate you joining us today and helping me take apart my flower.
Yeah. And is this the second meeting or first?
This is actually a session, Kylie, we have every week. So this is for any Girl Scout. You don't have to be a special troop member, or this is for every junior. So you can join us every Wednesday for the rest of the month. But you also might want to check out when your troop is actually meeting.
1 second. I'm gonna type something in real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna like chat with y'all real quick.
Okay. Elena, if you want to go, we'll let you go if you want. Thank you. Our session's over.
1 second.
Elena.
Elena, have a good one.
Bye. She knows a lot about flowers, that kid.
He does.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
Kylie, once you type in your message, we can read it aloud.
Kylie looks a little frozen there. Oh, there.
Because I am typing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and stop the recording.
Absolutely. And
Cool. So, Kylie, are you in a virtual